Over the past few years, I've come to appreciate the ambidextrous bullpups, the Desert Tech MDR, the Kel-Tec RDB, and the Springfield Armory Hellion. Granted, these three offerings are not as fully developed as any modern AR or M4 rifle, which are at the pinnacle of refinement. But the ambidextrous, optimal use of cover and maneuverability of these bullpup rifles makes the stoner-derived carbines feel like relics. It is my experience in the crucible of tournament X-ball or paintball, where there is no weak hand, that drives my appreciation for these bullpups. It is possible that shooters without this tournament paintball background will find my love of these bullpups incomprehensible, so I return to the AR-15 to see what we can do to make it ambidextrous. And I will conclude with a product that I believe returns the AR-15 back to parity with these Ambi Bullpups, basically retracting my claim that the AR is a relic. Why Ambi Controls? Marksmanship is being able to hit your target. Gunfightermanship is marksmanship plus being able to prevent your opponent from hitting his target, that is you. That is, prevent your opponent from making you a casualty. Making ambidextrous optimal use of cover is a key factor in reducing your risk of being hit. Based upon pixel level analysis, 10 times as much flesh is exposed when not using proper ambi technique. Moreover, 20 times as much vital area is exposed when not taking advantage of ambidextrous optimal use of cover. What does the ambidextral gunfighter require of his rifle? Perfect mirroring of a firearm's controls is very important to capitalize on bilateral transfer of skills once you become unconsciously ambidextrous. Put to rest the notion of strong hand versus weak hand. The goal is to be completely oblivious as to which hand you're using and rather switching hands as needed to make optimal use of cover. How? The How to Become an Ambidextral Gunfighter video series can get you there in about 10 days. Link in the description. So, how might we make the AR or M4 a more capable platform so that you can begin your own path to becoming an ambidextral gunfighter? Can the stoner-derived AR M4 platform satisfy the most dedicated ambidextral gunfighter? Let's see what we can do. Charging handle. For simple 2 fingers over the top operation, the standard charging handle is fine. However, for left hand and right hand operation of the charging handle from the sides, I recommend an ambidextrous charging handle. I've been running the BCM Gunfighter Ambi charging handle. It has very large latches and I've been quite happy with it. Radian also offers the Raptor charging handles, which perform probably about the same. One problem with the AR charging handle is that the forward assist can deflect over the top operation and it sorely obstructs left-handed side operation. Problems with the forward assist. It's not ambi, it's not perfectly mirrored, it interferes with the charging handle access, it's a finger deflector, it's added weight and complexity, there's added risk of injecting a malfunction if it comes in contact with your body armor. Granted, it's a low risk, but it's a risk that does exist. And most malfunction situations can be handled with tap rack bang, and most failures to go back into battery after a chamber check can be solved with direct thumb manipulation of the bolt carrier group. Those situations which cannot be resolved this way are unlikely to be much improved by using the forward assist. I do also suspect that running Sentry Solutions Tough Glide also reduces the need for a forward assist. Sentry making a rifle almost self-cleaning as well as being unfazed by extreme cold temperatures. Safety selector or safety switch. My own AR, a BCM Recce, was delivered with a Bravo Company ambidextrous safety. This worked fine for many years, perfectly mirrored, operated identically left and right-handed. However, after my experience with the Ambi Bullpups, each with a shorter throw Ambi safety, I went in search of recreating this experience with my AR. I settled on the Radian Talon 45/90 degree ambidextrous safety. The Radian Talon safety kit comes with 4 different lengths of safety levers. Not 4 different length pairs, but just 4 levers of different length. This is with the idea that most people, still stuck in the strong hand, weak hand paradigm, run a shorter lever on the weak side. Hopefully, someday Radian offers an AmGun lever kit that either has a pair of each length lever or a kit that has a single pair of the long levers. I tried each length that came with my 4 lever kit, and I very much preferred the longest length levers. So, if you buy a 2 lever or 4 lever Radian Talon kit, I suggest also ordering at least 1 matching lever. A single lever to add to the 2 lever or 4 lever packages. I'll have links down in the description. I really like the 45-degree throw of the Radian Talon selector. Maybe it's because I've become accustomed to the short throw safeties on my RDB and the Hellion, but I find the Radian Talon 45/90 safeties to be much better than I anticipated. Very highly recommended. Trigger. Geisley trigger. My BCM Recce came with a decent, crisp, mil-spec trigger. After becoming accustomed to the RDB's great trigger and the Ruger BX trigger on my 1022 and the Tikka T1X trigger, I felt like I needed to make my AR's trigger more like that of my other rifles. So I installed a Geisley SSA-E trigger. Easy to install, and it's a great trigger, as good as or maybe slightly better than my other rifles. It's often on sale at Palmetto State Armory, and it is well worth the upgrade. If you only have one rifle, an AR with a mil-spec trigger, maybe you don't need the Geisley trigger. When I attended my first Project Appleseed known distance event with my BCM Recce, I really struggled the first day and was nowhere near to getting the rifleman score. After attending many Appleseeds with my Ruger 1022 with its BX trigger, adapting to the heavier mil-spec trigger was proving a problem. After the first day of the event, I spoke with a fellow Project Appleseed instructor, and he insisted that I do a couple hundred dry fires before going to bed that night. I was tired and really didn't want to do it, but I did, and the following day, all of my scores were deep into rifleman territory, earning my known distance long-range patch. Anyway, the Geisley is a terrific upgrade, especially if your other rifles have better than mil-spec triggers. Magazine release. The mag release is one of the most challenging to get truly and perfectly mirrored on an AR. I've been running the Arms Unlimited ambidextrous mag release for several years. It is very affordable and a somewhat adequate solution. It does feel different for left-handed versus right-handed. Left-handed operation of the mag release finds the button a bit stiffer to operate. Given the design, it probably has to be a bit stiffer to prevent accidental disengagement of the magazine. I've worried that the Arms Unlimited Ambi mag release would prove unreliable or liable to break, but it has functioned without fail over many years of shooting and dry firing. Bolt release. The Magpul BAD or Battery Assist Device lever is an innovative but kludgy solution. It does position a paddle on the opposite side, but its operation is so different that it does not take advantage of bilateral transfer of skill, so you might as well learn a non-mirrored technique. That is, to reach under or to release using your trigger finger or use the charging handle. The BAD lever also reduces room for gloves inside the trigger guard. AmGun does not recommend the BAD lever. The MDR features my favorite Ambi bolt release. Insert mag and release is right under your thumb, making the rifle ready to fire before your support hand even returns to the handguard. I also really like the Hellion's bolt release. Ejection port. The AR ejection port is far enough forward that this platform doesn't have to contend with the Ambi issues facing bullpup shooters. MDR and the Hellion both send cases forward while the RDB ejects cases downward, and the RFB from Kel-Tec shoves cases out the front of the rifle. Besides Desert Tech, Kel-Tec, and Springfield Armory, HS product, most bullpup rifles do not have truly ambidextrous ejection. Optics. For starting your journey to becoming an ambidextral gunfighter, I highly recommend an optic with a lighted reticle. This will help immensely with training your brain to use either eye to find the sighting system. As much as I love the ACOG, getting your brain to combine the magnified image coming from one eye and the non-magnified from the other is too much to ask when starting out. A red dot sight is ideal for starting out. Or an illuminated LPVO that starts at 1x magnification is also a good option too. However, once you are comfortably ambidextrous, I highly recommend the ACOG. Compared to an LPVO, it is much lighter. The glass delivers a wide and hyper-realistic view of the world. The price is hard to swallow, but keep in mind that the ACOG includes its own mount, and the tritium models do not require batteries. It is without a doubt my favorite rifle scope. And Trigicon's founder, Glenn Binden, promoted the Binden aiming concept. See Amgun's video on Binden aiming concept or the ACOG user manual. Going through the Amgun process of becoming ambidextrous will make the Binden aiming concept come alive. 90% of the people talking about Binden aiming concept on YouTube or the web have almost no idea of what they're talking about. Throw lever. For those who do go the LPVO route, I recommend a throw lever set up in a particular way. My Vortex Viper 126 PST rifle scope's magnification ring was pretty stiff, so I sought out a throw lever. Ideally, I wanted the lever to be fully vertical when at 1x, so that it wouldn't block my non-sighting eye, left or right-handed. But the Vortex Viper has a 180-degree throw. I tried a couple of throw levers and found that they had shoulders near the lever that ran into the pick rail or the optic mount. I ultimately found the Annex Defense ultralight scope throw lever that did not have these shoulders, which allowed me to position the lever such that at 0 magnification or 1x magnification, it was at a 45-degree angle. So it wasn't in the way of my outside eye, which helps preserve binocular vision. So if you want to take advantage of the 1x magnification of some LPVOs, I highly recommend the Annex Defense throw lever. However, I think the best route is to learn Ambi with a red dot and then once proficient, switch to an ACOG. Lights. To keep my muzzle mass to a minimum, I like to keep my weapon light in a pouch and only attach it when needed. It is always attached when doing bedside duty. This means a simple, easy to remove light that can be positioned for perfectly mirrored activation both left and right-handed. I also prefer that my light be set up for momentary activation to make sure it's only on for brief periods of time like a Firefly. Rather than the big name lights with remote pads, I like the simplicity and removability of the Enforce weapon light. Although I'm coming to use the Enforce light as a hand stop, so the easy removal isn't the big deal I once thought it was. Magazine pouches. Ideally, magazine pouches should position magazines for optimal access left hand and right hand. If the width of your chest can carry 4 mags, then 2 should be staged for left hand access and 2 right hand. A 3 pouch width, 2 staged for primary hand access. Mag carriers isn't something I've really experimented with much, but I think I would like my mag pouches on my side, left and right side, so that I can get as absolutely as close to planet Earth as I can if lead is coming my way. Once fully ambi on both rifle and handgun, you might set up your rifle sling for right-handed shooting and your sidearm for left hand, so when you're doing rifle to handgun transitions, there is less interference between the two. Also see why you should carry and present left-handed for handguns. Link in the description. AR Buttstock. A late entry into the Ambi AR upgrade is the Magpul MOE SL-M carbine stock, which features left hand and right hand release latch. Not a huge Ambi thing, since my BCM buttstock's release latch is on the bottom, identical for both left hand and right hand use. But the Magpul stock does feature an angled toe that is supposed to help with shoulder transitions. Amgun has not tested this, but if you're in need of a buttstock, the Magpul MOE SL-M is worth considering. BCM Gunfighter Grip Mod 3-KD. I swapped out my full-length BCM Gunfighter grip for the Mod 3 KD, that is the Cal DeFore Shorty version. I like the low-profile look this gives the AR, especially when paired with a 20-round or even 10-round magazine. It's a lot less scary for the bleating puppy. I think I would prefer it if it were maybe a 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch longer and maybe a bit narrow to capitalize on indexing for point shooting. Still, I've come to prefer this grip and will be happy to continue running it until a Mod 4 KD comes out. Very affordable. I highly recommend giving it a try. The Mantis BlackbeardX. To this point, I've covered the upgrades that help the AR become a better ambidextral gunfighter carbine. The Mantis BlackbeardX helps make you a better ambidextral gunfighter, and it is this product that erases the AR is a relic perspective. I've been using the Mantis BlackbeardX for a few months now. BlackbeardX is 3 dry fire training tools in one. It's a training laser, an auto resetting trigger, and it also features Mantis X for feedback. 95. Now, for using the BlackbeardX, I recommend first that you attend a Project Appleseed rifle marksmanship clinic to learn steady hold factors, 6 steps to firing the shot, and natural point of aim. It's not useful doing dry fire practice and developing muscle memory for poor technique. Appleseed first, or at least watch my old Appleseed prep video series, but then get a BlackbeardX. While a detailed review is forthcoming, I found that I use BlackbeardX auto-resetting dry fire system differently than I had anticipated. I have not really used the Mantis X portion of BlackbeardX that much, not like I do on my pistols, just enough to earn the basic and advanced rifleman patches. But rather, I have found the auto-resetting laser a boon to practicing what I call point shooting with my AR, using a slightly canted, looking down the barrel, paintball-like technique. I'm not sure if it's because of my experience competing in tournament paintball, but I'm very pleased with how well I can now point shoot my AR. And using BlackbeardX, I've been able to move about the house, stock collapsed, transitioning left hand to right hand and back, engaging targets like light switches, lamps, bottles, etc. It is surprisingly satisfying. I'm so pleased with my results that I'm tempted to remove my ACOG, just mount some backup irons that I only pop up when I feel the need for sighted accuracy. I have not found the same proficiency with my RDB. I'm always shooting too high, but since the RDB can't run the auto-resetting BlackbeardX, I'm not likely to master it like I have my AR. The Mantis BlackbeardX is a huge advantage for the AR-15 platform. My technique for this canted point shooting is with the stock fully collapsed, rifle canted about 30 degrees, cheek weld forward on the stock with my nose nestled between the ACOG and the top of the receiver. This kind of cheek nose weld is what gives you a consistent point of reference for short-range accuracy, out to as far as 50 yards. This technique makes my BCM record feel so much like my old tournament paintball guns that I have put the AR back on par with my RDB for this kind of optimal use of cover and Ambi handling. Finally, weight. The AR-15, as I have outfitted with the ACOG and the N4 light and a canvas GI sling, weighs 7.44 pounds versus the Hellion at 9.2 pounds and the RDB at 9.04 pounds. In short, the AR is almost 28 ounces lighter than the two Bullpups. That's almost two loaded 30-round magazines. So while I might still prefer the Hellion or RDB for urban CQB or room clearing, if I'm hoofing my loadout across the countryside or deep into the hills, it's the AR-15 all the way. Overall height. My AR-15 with the BCM Cal de foregrip is 9 inches tall. The Hellion, also with the Cal de foregrip, is 9.5 inches tall, and the RDB with its fixed grip is 10 inches tall. So the AR is a bit more compact vertically. Overall length. My AR-15 with the stock fully collapsed is only 33 inches long, but the 30 3/4 inch RDB with a 20-inch barrel is 2 1/4 inches shorter, and the 28.5 inch Hellion 16-inch barrel is 4.5 inches shorter. However, if you extended the stock on the AR to more closely resemble the trigger pull length, the AR at full stock extension is 35 3/4 inches long, 5 inches longer than the RDB, and 7 1/4 inches longer than the Hellion. In other words, for the AR to match the maneuverability of the Hellion's overall length, it would have to be an SBR with a 9-inch barrel. Ambi Appaling. 45-degree angled red dot sights. If you mirrored these, you'd have 2 snag hazard bat wings on your rifle. For fast CQB engagements, I think point shooting, canted sighting down the rail is adequate. Instead of a 45-degree red dot, just get the Mantis BlackbeardX and practice. I also see no need for mounted backup iron sights. At most, carry a backup iron sight in your kit. For starters, if you need BIS, you'll probably have to remove the damaged optic first. Secondly, the canted point shooting technique fills much of the gap in a pinch out to 50 yards. Bipod. Carry it in your kit, or use your backpack, or learn to use a sling as a shooter's aid. Excessively high optics. I like low optics for long-range marksmanship and for being less tippy when diving into cover, or for fitting into a rifle scabbard. Muzzle device. Added length due to a longer barrel versus a muzzle device versus maneuvering behind cover. A flash hider equipped 16-inch barrel versus a 20-inch barrel without a flash hider. It's kind of balancing cost-benefit analysis. My flash hider equipped 16-inch BCM Recce, I'd be equally happy with a 20-inch barrel without a muzzle device. 30-round magazines. In general, when fighting from behind cover, I prefer the reduced mass of a 20-round magazine. I imagine inserting a 30-rounder only when tasked with delivering suppressing fire while a teammate flanks an opponent or while bounding. In a new appreciation for the AR-15. With the Radian Talon 45-degree safety, the Geissler trigger, the Cal de foregrip, and the Mantis BlackbeardX, I've really developed a newfound appreciation for the AR platform. Running the stock fully collapsed for point shooting, my Recce is only an inch longer than the RDB. The AR is lighter and is less top-heavy or tippy, and AR parts are everywhere. I do still think that those who have competed in tournament paintball will really appreciate the RDB or Hellion or MDR, but an AR properly ambied and paired with BlackbeardX will no longer be disparaged as a relic. Of the Ambi Bullpups, I think I like the RDB the best, but for the sake of team compatibility and the BlackbeardX advantage, my BCM Recce is now my preferred centerfire rifle. Check out the Ambidextral Gunfighter resource at www.ambidextral.com. ambgun.com and download a free copy of the Ambidextral Gunfighter and locate Ambidextral Gunfighter recommended products. All at www.ambgun.com. It's Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextral Gunfighter. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.